I'd like to welcome to the program the Republican candidate for Illinois Attorney General Tom DeVore and NEWSMAX contributor and former FBI agent Michael Grimm. Tom, Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Now
Good to
this
see you,
week,
Lydia.
Thanks. Now this week, after receiving massive backlash over this SAFE-T Act, Governor Pritzker attempted to gaslight the public. Watch.
The SAFE-T Act is designed to keep murderers and domestic abusers, violent criminals in jail.
Okay. I don't know. That just doesn't even make any sense to me. Tom, what's your reaction to all of this?
Well, the governor is he's deflecting because, of course, that's one of the purposes. But the point that he's missing is that there's a whole laundry list of crimes, violent crimes that they missed when they passed this law. I mean, there's 7 enumerated bases for which you can detain someone. And if a crime doesn't fit within those 7, it's not detainable. And the list that you just showed a few moments ago are crimes that don't fit the categories of detention. So what that means is that that particular alleged perpetrator has to be set free, and the judge never sees them to determine whether or not they should be held. They never go in front of the judge because the legislature has said we've already determined that that's not the type of crime that someone should be detained.
In New York, there's also the bail reform law, and the judges there don't have any discretion whether or not a person is dangerous or not. So this Illinois law makes it seem like it's some kind of conservative proposal. The SAFE-T Act is nearly 800 pages long, but of course, we combed all through it. This law now puts the handcuffs on the cops and allows the criminals to go free. Officers will also be forced to undergo, get this, avoiding racial bias and promotion of racial and gender equity training. Michael, you're a law enforcement guy. I feel like I'm living in a bizarro world. Is this really happening?
Well, Lydia, unfortunately, it is happening. But let's not go down the rabbit hole of what the wokeism and liberals want us to do, which is what we're doing right now. This can't be true. This part doesn't work because of this. This is not about being rational in any way, shape, or form. What it really is about the agenda of those like George Soros and his followers that want one thing: anarchy. And that's why all of these things are coming together. Whether, you can pick almost anything about wokeism. This law, obviously ridiculous. Why? Because cops won't be able to do their jobs, criminals will be protected, and the citizens will not be able to protect themselves. What does that mean? Anarchy. But you can add to that all of these things under equity and equality. It's all nonsense, and it's all designed to destroy our society and ultimately just to destroy the democracy that we all enjoy in our way of life. And people will ask me, but why would anyone want that? You'd have to ask those like George Soros, who's made, by the way, billions of dollars doing this in other countries where he's devalued the currency by sowing anarchy and fomenting this type of anarchy. And he's made a lot of money doing it. And he's always said he wanted to take down the United States. So that's what we're really dealing with here. This is, of course, absurd on its face, but it is designed to create anarchy, and I think it will.
Michael, I love that word anarchy because that's what a society is called without laws, anarchy, and that's exactly what this would do. So, of course, what would a radical lefty be who loves criminals be without criticizing Trump? Watch.
Welcome back to Illinois, Madam Vice President. Thank you for being a fierce fighter against the tyranny of the MAGA Republicans who stand with that racist, homophobic, misogynistic, xenophobe Donald Trump.
They're obsessed with him. I swear, they're so obsessed. I know we got only 2 minutes left. Tom DeVore, a minute left. I'll give you guys each a minute. Tom, I mean, what do you make of this? I'm afraid it might actually spread across the country, and people think this might actually be a good idea.
I'm not so sure that that'll be the case because now that our people in Illinois are listening, I think we're seeing in the last week what they think of it. Another thing that doesn't get talked about enough is that assuming that someone has committed a crime, allegedly, that fits a category of potential detention, the judge still has to have a hearing within 48 hours and determine, 1, that they likely committed the crime, and 2, that they are a specific threat to an identifiable person. not to the community, because they took that language out of the law. Being a threat to your community is no longer a factor. They specifically eliminated it. It's now to a specific person. So the question for states' attorneys are, if someone commits first-degree murder, which is otherwise a detainable offense, who's the threat? Who are they a threat to now? That person is gone. So there's all kinds of, when you push a law like this through in 3 days, which this, this grand reform that Pritzker's talking about, 3 days they crammed it through the legislature. No wonder they're having all the problems they're having.
And it was 800 pages long. Michael Grimm, I'm sorry we have to go, but love to have you guys back as always. Thank you so much, Michael Grimm and Tom DeVore. Thank you. And let's pray. That's all we can do at this